So let us proceed for today's topic. In the last session, we had discussed basics of embedded system to some extent. Moving forward, now we are going to discuss about different architectures in microcontrollers. Right. There are two types of architectures that we have in modern day microcontrollers. They are Neumann architectures and Harvard architectures. What is the difference between these two? So mostly modern microcontroller follows Harvard. There is a architecture called Van as well. Let us study the difference. The Van architecture has a single common memory space where your program instructions and data are stored. So single data bus is used to access your instructions as well as your data. This will make the system to run slow and it is not efficient. Right. So when it comes to Harvard architecture, we have an independent buses for both, one for program, another one for data. Also, it access program instruction as well as data simultaneously. This helps the microcontroller to run fast, and also some of the microcontroller has a piping capability. That means when you are fetching the instruction, you can that is lost. So they have a parallel running of different instruction at the same time. Right. I think if you want to execute an instruction, you have to read it from the memory and then decode it and run it like that. We have different steps. So when you are doing one step, you can also do another steps in parallel when you have Harvard architecture. That is very complex and mostly it is impossible in case of Van. Right. These are the two different architectures that we have in microcontroller. Right. Depends on the microcontroller that we choose, architecture it is based on, the efficiency of the microcontroller will differ. This is one thing that we have to understand right now. Then every microcontroller will also have a central processing unit. What this central processing unit will do? Fetches, decode, and execute. Right now. So in Harvard architecture, these stages like fetching, decoding, executing, we have now. When you are fetching, you can, for example, when you are decoding, parallelly you can run the fetch of next instructions. When you are executing, you can decode the fetched instruction. So like that, you can pipeline your operation in the architecture right now. So in Harvard architectures, these operations, the fetches, decoding, and then executing, right? These were taken care by CPU memory, CPU central processing unit. This unit will take care of that one, that each programming instructions will be fetched and it will be decoded and will execute. So that will be taken care by a central processing unit. Central processing units also have a separate unit for this mathematical and logical calculation called ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, right? This is responsible for performing calculation and executing instructions related to mathematical operations. Those will be taken care by arithmetic logic unit. So execution of instructions and then running the mathematical calculations, those will be taken care by central processing unit. That is the key. In every microprocessor and controller, you will find central processing unit. Without it, you cannot consider that as a microcomputer or independent microcontroller. We cannot call them like that right now. Then common microcontroller registers. Every microcontroller used to have list of registers.
Tired of complex GST calculations and messy stock management? There's a simpler way to run your business. Introducing the GST-based inventory and billing system from Yahasiya Software. This is the all-in-one software you've been waiting for. It automates your billing, tracks your inventory in real time, and produces accurate reports with just a few clicks. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Do you want a demo? Call 875-451-8745 today, and grow your business to the next level.
Those were used while we do program, right? Those are stack pointer, index register, program counter, and accumulator. We should have thorough knowledge of all these registers. Only then we can do a perfect program. We can even decode the program written by someone else. What is stack pointer? I told that part of the RAM is taken and is used as stack memory. The stack memory follow the concept of LIFO, last in, first out, right? So it is just like a memory which is frequently used as a volatile memory to store temporary variables, right? So to handle these variables, there is these data to fetch the data from stack or push data to stack. We have a separate pointer called stack pointer. We no need to declare them, we will use them. That is already there. Another one is the index register. Your data memory is divided into different blocks. They used to divide them into different blocks. To access each blocks, they have index to them. When you access block 0, index value is 0. When you want to access block 1, you have to use index value 1. Based on the index value that you choose, you can access respective data memory block. Right. So for that, these index registers are key. Then a program counter. Program counter will point the instruction that to be executed next. I believe the program counter, you know that we are studying in engineering, right? When we study about microcontrollers, they used to say, even when you study any programming language, they used to explain about program counter. Program counter will have the address of next execution instruction to run right now. That is what it used to have. So that is a separate register that we have. Then accumulator. This accumulator is whatever the calculation that you do, whatever the comparison that you do, the result will be stored by default in this particular register. That is called accumulator. Right. These 4 registers are very key register that will be there in every microcontroller. Without that, you cannot use microcontroller at all. So you need one or another way in your program where either you directly or indirectly you will use this register. Right. So these are the common microcontrollers that we have to know. Then the type of memory, as I told you before, there is a read-only memory. That means you can only program it once and then you can only read. This is called read-only memory, right now. So they used to call one-time programmable memory, something like that. They are called as ROM. Then RAM. RAM is the another name in microcontroller term. RAM is called as data memory, right? Where you used to store all your data, right? So this random access memory, there we can store our result of our calculation, the input variables, everything we can store there, right? These are the 2 major categories that we have in with respect to memory in microcontrollers, right? Then to explore further about ROM read-only memory is non-volatile memory used for program information and permanent data. If you want to store some constant, you can store them in ROM as well. Like there are different constants used. Those constants can be stored in ROM. though that is not changeable in program. Microcontroller uses ROM memory space to store program instructions. It will execute when it is started or reset. So ROM is actually a program memory. Probably it is a non-volatile memory, right? There in non-volatile memory itself, we have different types. One-time programmable read-only memory, which is that can be reprogrammed by erasing it using UV light. Another type of ROM, which is EEPROM, electrically erasable read-only memory, which uses the charge pump to erase the memory. Right now, these are the different types of ROMs that we have in microcontroller right now. Most of the cases, ROM is used to store your program instruction, right? Program instructions must be saved in non-volatile memory so that they are not affected by loss of power. So even if you turn off the power, that instructions will be there. They are stored in the memory that is available forever. Microcontroller usually cannot write data to program memory space. Usually they won't write it in program memory space, but it is possible, right? When people used to write in the program memory space, we are doing flashing using can flashing we do, and then serial flashing we do, right? During reprogramming of microcontroller, you will try to rewrite the program memory with the new instructions, right? No, only in that time we will write, right? Most of the cases, those the for small product or something like that, they are programmed only once and used forever. They won't touch the program memory at all, right? This is the case in case of embedded system right now. If there is a requirement to reprogram, in that time, it is also possible to reprogram memory using the respective methods.